all firms ratrather than a privileged client relationship between investment and high street banks or Main Street banks, the Americans would call them, to the central bank, which is basically a mafia type system, yeah, of nepotism and corruption, and allowing banks to keep extorting money out of people's work and the fact that people need houses because they need to keep working to service the debt that they've built up, which is obviously going to be at a higher interest rate than the bank is having to pay to the central bank, which is always going to be lower. Take, for instance, this week, RBS, which is owned almost completely by the British government, 80%. They have been used by the British government, or the RBS is using the British government, or maybe there's just a community of interest, to actually effectively raise the base rate that people are paying on their mortgages to 4%, even though the base rate that the RBS borrows from the Bank of England is 0.5%. So therefore, if they're leveraging out those people's mortgages 100 times, they're receiving 3% on each time they've leveraged it out to other firms who are also paying them interest. So they might be getting up to 300% of interest back on their original mortgage investment and contract with you. So even though you don't have any control over what they do, or you've not even been told what they do with your money, which you're investing with them, they're creating more currency and credit in the system, which is manipulating the actual real value of money in society, in terms of what people perceive it to be. Yeah. Banks don't create new money. That's the point of this video series, is to understand that technology and hard work extract money and innovation and rationality, all things to do with human talent rather than capital. Yeah? Capital is there to serve human beings, not the other way around. It's human talent that gets utility from resources, which allows energy and information to be put into the system to produce more value in money, naturally. So money can grow, but it's not growing because currency is growing. Okay? If you look at it from a Keynesian point of view, then you would have a massive, in terms of what modern Keynesianism is, you would need a massive bureaucracy, perhaps. The Bank of England, if everyone was receiving credit at the same level, you would need a massive bureaucracy to deal with that. So that was a kind of a bit of a flaw, perhaps, in my original idea of having credit given to everyone equally. An equality of currency and credit system. But if everyone has a share in the central bank, then everyone, all citizens, elect that central banker, those central bankers, those economists, to deal with the economy. And because they're making decisions collectively through the share price of the cooperative system, then everyone has an incentive to make sure that the economic model is right and performs well, and everyone has a responsibility to take an interest in it, you know. So another big digression, but to try and prove my point there. This cooperative model, back to the text, this cooperative model of central banking with an index of all the worth of utility from goods and services, which is included via the use of the cooperative model firm's share price, means that currency price signals, asset and investment values will converge, thereby keeping the currency and money expansion rate in harmony with technological changes, extraction of utility from total known resources. Okay, so the total amount of resources is those that we know of and we can use. The total amount of resources in the entire world, their utility is not known because we don't know what future technologies are going to emerge to get the maximum amount of utility out of them, you know. They say if you got all the energy from an apple, it could be used to power the world, you know. It's the method. I mean, if you throw it on a fire, it'll just cook. If you use all the hydrogen out of it from the water that is inside it and put it into a fusion reactor, you're going to get a lot more energy. Whether it be enough to power all the energy in the world, I don't know. Another method better than that might come along. You don't know. So your knowledge is imperfect. But the drive of this system is that it is making a much better attempt at getting in harmony with what all the actions of economic actors and agents are doing within the economy, using all the different technology that is available to extract resources from those resources, to extract utility from those resources which are known. This thus solves the paradox, as it is a system that relies on the talents and hard work and innovation of individuals and the national society community working as a cooperative network, not as one cooperative firm in essence, yeah, but a cooperation between individuals, you know, and that makes a network that encourages the entire society to cooperate, like a citizen network, a matrix of different information and opportunities being facilitated for the benefit of all individuals and the national society. So the national individuals and the national society working as a cooperative network, developing social and information connections between everyone so that imperfect and secret knowledge becomes a disadvantage. This will mean that as social information connections grow, so will economic connections in parallel with each other as a synthesis, yeah? A synthesis being a combination of two or more inputs or a matrix of inputs to make a synthesis which is something that is greater than the parts of its original inputs.